Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw recap and results video. But Monday Night Raw is still going on, and it is right there, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton once again. I'm not sitting through another Randy Orton Drew McIntyre match. Might as well just start it. Might as well just start this video here. But this Monday Night Raw tonight was just fucking terrible. It was absolutely god-awful. It's Monday Night Raw. What do you expect? Monday Night Raw every week is fucking awful. Here it is. Sheamus right there. Sheamus just ran out. You see. So yeah. But Monday Night Raw is fucking terrible tonight. But anyways, let me jump right into the recap and results here. Monday Night Raw opened up with Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce was in the ring. He ended up welcoming us to Monday Night Raw. And he then welcomed Shane McMahon. So Shane McMahon ended up coming out. Shane hasn't been seen since that Raw failure ground happened. So yeah, Shane McMahon was back on Monday Night Raw just for this appearance. So Shane ended up saying that it's good to be back on Monday Night Raw, and that it's his favorite time of the year. It's his favorite time of the year because it is the road to WrestleMania. So the only reason why Shane was on Monday Night Raw tonight was he had to make an announcement about the Elimination Chamber. So Adam Pearce ended up announcing that Drew McIntyre will defend the WWE Championship inside of the Elimination Chamber. Shane ended up saying that 6 superstars will enter the chamber, and the winner will be the new WWE champion. So I'm like, once again, WWE is being lazy, and they're just putting 6 superstars into the chamber, and I'm like, why are they not doing qualifying matches? Sorry about that, but I'm saying, why isn't WWE doing qualifying matches for certain superstars to get a chance to go into the Elimination Chamber and get a shot at the WWE Championship? WWE is like, oh yeah, let's just throw 6 guys in there and call it a day. Let's just throw these guys into the chamber, have the WWE Championship on the line. So, absolute laziness. So Adam Pearce ended up saying that McIntyre's opponents are all former WWE champions. So those guys will be Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, The Miz, and Sheamus. So there you go. Those are your 6 superstars that are going to enter the chamber. And the winner will be the new WWE champion. So Shane ended up giving Adam Pearce praise for the job that he's been doing. So then Shane ended up getting out of the ring. He headed up the ramp. Styles ended up coming out along with Omos. So Styles and Shane end up nodding, and Styles wasn't happy. We had Omos staring at Shane, and I'm like, Shane gives him a smile because he was the bouncer when Raw Fairground was still going on. So, but Styles ended up getting on the mic, and he ended up asking Adam Pearce for a second of his time. Styles ended up agreeing that Adam Pearce is doing an amazing job. So he ended up mentioning how his chances of winning the WWE Championship are phenomenal. And he ended up saying that he says that he's always thought of Adam Pearce as a dumbass. So he ended up saying that he will give everyone a chamber preview tonight. So then out came Jeff Hardy, and that was how the segment ended. But really, you just bring Shane back just for him to make a announcement about the Elimination Chamber? Really? So then we had Styles versus Jeff Hardy, which this was a decent match here. And before the match got underway, we had Drew McIntyre end up approaching Shane McMahon backstage. So he ended up saying that he would have appreciated a heads up about the match. But he wanted Sheamus in a match. So Shane ended up giving McIntyre some props and wishes him good luck. So Shane was shown hopping into his limo, ended up driving off. And that was that. And then we went to Styles versus Jeff Hardy. So the match started off with Jeff Hardy ended up taking control of Styles to start off the match. Hardy ended up taking Styles down in a headlock. He ended up sending Styles down, and he was taunting Styles. Styles ended up turning around in the corner. Referee was backing him off. Styles ended up working Jeff Hardy around, but Jeff Hardy ended up taking him down for a quick pin attempt. So at the end of the match, you had Styles end up locking in the calf crusher on Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy ended up tapping out. And so there you go. Styles ended up winning the match. But overall, decent match from Styles and Jeff Hardy. So it looked like Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre ended in a disqualification because Sheamus came in. Drew McIntyre ended up knocking out Sheamus. So there you go. Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre ended in a disqualification. Who cares? So then we had Keith Lee was backstage. Keith Lee was warming up. Matt Riddle ended up approaching Keith Lee and asks, "What's up?" So Matt Riddle had a black eye, and he admitted that Bobby Lashley got the better of him last week. He ended up saying that laughter is the best medicine. So he got toasty at home last week. He watched all of the Aaron Bud movies, and he says he's feeling like $1 million. So Keith Lee ended up wondering if Bobby Lashley knocked some screws loose and asked Matt Riddle if he really wants to keep pursuing the United States Championship. So Matt Riddle ended up saying that he just wants to win the United States Championship and insists that he will win eventually. Keith Lee ended up saying that maybe it's time someone new tries for the title, like him. Keith Lee ended up saying that he has what it takes to beat Bobby Lashley and to beat Matt Riddle. So Matt Riddle ended up saying, "Let the better man win." And that was that. So then we had the New Day versus Retribution. Retribution members of Slapjack, Flapjack, and T-Bar, T-Balls, whatever you want to call them. So, but then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back, we had Sheamus stopping Adam Pearce in the back. And Sheamus was furious about not getting a WWE Championship match, and for him having to compete in the Elimination Chamber. Pierce ended up saying that they were just trying to get the biggest main event for the pay-per-view. Sheamus then ended up raging on, and he ended up promising to unleash brutality on the superstars in the chamber. And he ended up saying that Adam Pearce will be responsible of that. So Sheamus ended up walking off, and then we had the match, New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods versus Slapjack and T-Bar, Flapjack, T-Balls, whatever you want to call him. But we had Mace and Mustafa Ali. He was on commentary. Mostly Mustafa Ali was barking on commentary. But, how many times are we going to see this? It's Kofi and Xavier versus two guys of Retribution. How many times have we got to see this? It's repetitive. It's WWE once again being repetitive. But the New Day end up winning. They break on Slapjack. So the New Day end up winning. Moving on. We had Ric Flair come out. Ric Flair ended up walking down, and then next out came Lacey Evans. Both of them headed to the ring. Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had Tom Phillips end up congratulating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for winning the Super Bowl last night. So we also saw Damian Priest backstage with Bad Bunny. They were laughing about what he did to John Morrison last week. I'm like, Bad Bunny's still here? Really? And WWE, I heard, is going to be doing more with Bad Bunny for TV. Unbelievable. So then Ric Flair got on the mic. Ric Flair ended up saying that people out there are asking why he wants to be back in the mix. Flair ended up saying that he takes orders from no woman, including his very own daughter, Charlotte. So Ric Flair ended up ranting about his daughter and saying that he's met someone who has all the physical qualifications and drive to be a star. She ended up saying that all she needs is some motivation, knowledge, and wisdom. Ric Flair ended up saying that Charlotte may be the greatest female wrestler in the company today, but he's still going to train Lacey Evans, and that they are in charge. He ended up saying that their relationship is just casual, but if she comes under his charm, it's expected. So Ric Flair ended up serving notice to Asuka, and ended up saying that Lacey Evans will be the next Raw Women's Champion. So Lacey Evans ended up getting on the mic. She ended up saying that people who think they know what is going on have no idea. She ended up saying that she does think Ric Flair is cute, but she has nothing but respect for him and treats him like the living legend he is, unlike his daughter. So Lacey Evans ended up ranting, and Charlotte ended up coming out. So Charlotte ended up saying that if Lacey Evans really wanted to learn, she'd take her ass to Orlando and train at the Performance Center. And she ended up saying, but she just wants to leech off of Charlotte and use her dad. So Lacey Evans then went to speak, but Charlotte ended up telling Lacey Evans to shut up. So Charlotte ended up saying that she has always said she wants her dad's help, but she's been trying to add to the legacy for years. she ended up saying that she doesn't care who her father manages, as long as he doesn't bring her down with him. So Lacey Evans ended up saying that she isn't trying to take her place. She just wants to listen and learn from Rick. So Lacey Evans ended up asking why they can't work together. Why do they have to be enemies? So Lacey Evans then ended up insulting Asuka, ended up saying that they should team up instead. So we had Charlotte end up saying that she has been trying to prove to everyone she can do this on her own, and that she already has a partner. So Charlotte ended up calling Lacey Evans a Charlotte 2.0. Lacey Evans then got close to Ric Flair and says her eyes are on the Raw Women's Championship. So Lacey Evans then revealed that Ric Flair was told by WWE officials that Lacey Evans will earn a title shot if she can beat Charlotte. So Charlotte ended up wanting to fight, but Ric Flair didn't want Charlotte and Lacey Evans to fight. Lacey Evans then ended up sending Charlotte out of the ring with a cheap shot, and Lacey Evans then sent Charlotte into the ring steps, and that was that. That was how the segment ended. But overall, just very meh segment. This Charlotte and Lacey Evans feud is just absolutely terrible. Just god-awful. So then we had Charlotte versus Lacey Evans, which this was boring. This was terrible. Lacey Evans ended up winning the match by disqualification because we had Charlotte end up unloading on Lacey Evans in the corner. The referee was warning Charlotte, but Charlotte ended up putting her hands on the referee, and she went back to beat up on Lacey Evans, and that's when the referee ended up calling for the bell. So there you go. Lacey Evans ended up winning the match by disqualification. Post-match, Charlotte then unloaded on Lacey Evans in the corner some more. Ric Flair then came into the ring, started yelling at Charlotte, and Charlotte ended up backing off. She ended up getting out of the ring, and Rick ended up helping Lacey Evans up, and that was that. So, what? Terrible match. Boring. And then we had Edge come out. Edge ended up talking about how last week was a long but amazing week. You know, Edge was at the Royal Rumble, then he was on Monday Night Raw. He went to NXT on Wednesday night, and then on SmackDown on Friday. So it was a long week for Edge last week. Edge ended up saying that he still has to decide which champion to challenge for at WrestleMania. He ended up going on about the Elimination Chamber for the WWE Championship. And out came The Miz, John Morrison, and Angel Garza. So The Miz ended up mocking Edge, ended up saying that he knows Edge is waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. Miz ended up saying that even if Edge's grand comeback leads to him win a title at WrestleMania, he will be there waiting to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. So Edge ended up saying that he's the guy who put the Money in the Bank briefcase on the map. Of course, he was the first guy to win the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 21. So, but that was one of my favorite Money in the Bank matches. Like, that was the very first Money in the Bank match. And out of all of them, that is my favorite. I remember watching that live and just enjoying the hell out of it. And, you know, seeing Edge win the briefcase was awesome. So, and then the next year he cashed it in, and he beat John Cena for the WWE Championship at New Year's Revolution. So that was pretty cool. So Edge ended up going on about keeping 3 champions on high alert. He ends up knocking The Miz for letting him know what he has planned. So Edge ended up bragging about thinking at a different level than Miz. He kept saying that Miz talks about champion, while he needs to be champion. So basically that was that. That was how the segment ended. Overall, it's cool to see Edge, you know. So then we had Angel Garza versus Damian Priest, which we had before the match. Angel Garza was posing in the corner with the Miz and Morrison standing on the apron. And out came Bad Bunny. He stopped on the stage. Of course, they gave him pyro. And we had Bad Bunny wait on the ramp as Damian Priest ended up making his way out. So, but this was a very quick match. We had Garza talking some trash on Damian Priest. Damian Priest ended up kicking Garza, started unloading in the corner on him. Priest then ended up taking control, dropped Garza with a heel kick. Miz and Morrison end up doing the distraction from the ring apron, which allowed Garza to turn the match around. Garza then delivered a drop kick to Damian Priest for a 2 count. At the end of the match, we had Bad Bunny started outsmarting the Miz and Morrison. So Damian Priest ended up winning. He ended up hitting the bell clap on Garza. So there you go. Damian Priest ended up winning the match. But overall, it was a very quick match. Then we had Kayla Braxton. Kayla Braxton was backstage with Drew McIntyre, asking him about the Elimination Chamber. McIntyre ended up saying that he knows it's WrestleMania season, where you have to expect the unexpected. McIntyre then ended up addressing Sheamus and Randy Orton and how everything is crazy right now. He kept saying that it gets crazy when he's backed into a corner and will rip your face off if you come at him for the WWE Championship. So that was what McIntyre had to say. And then we had Matt Riddle versus Keith Lee, which this was an entertaining match. This was a very good match here. And, of course, before we went to the match, we had Lacey Evans. It was confirmed that it's going to be Lacey Evans versus Asuka at the Elimination Chamber. So we're going to be getting that. So then Charlie Caruso was backstage. Charlie Caruso was with Bianca Belair. So Bianca Belair, of course, on Monday Night Raw when she's a SmackDown superstar, Brand to Brand Invitational, the stupid Brand to Brand Invitational. She ended up talking about winning the Rumble and waiting to make her decision. Bianca then praised Asuka. So Asuka ended up interrupting. She ended up congratulating Bianca on the Rumble win. But she ended up saying that she's not ready for her. Bianca ended up disagreeing. And that they do agree. And they agree over Lacey Evans not being ready for Asuka. So Bianca ended up saying that if Asuka retains over Lacey Evans at Elimination Chamber, we might be seeing more of Bianca on Monday Night Raw. So that was that. So then we had the match, Keith Lee versus Matt Riddle. We had MVP on commentary, and United States Championship was on display on the commentary table. It belongs, of course, to Bobby Lashley. But this was a very good match between these guys. Matt Riddle ended up flying at Keith Lee for an armbar. Riddle ended up on Keith Lee's back with a sleeper that was locked on him. Keith Lee ended up getting free of the sleeper. Matt Riddle ended up ducking a right hand and started jabbing at Keith Lee. There was a point where Keith Lee ended up pouncing Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle went flying to the other side of the ring, which was cool. It looked cool. I love when Keith Lee does those pounces and knocks out his opponents. But at the end of the match, Keith Lee ended up winning, and he delivered the Spirit Bomb to Matt Riddle. So there you go. Keith Lee ended up winning the match. Post-match, MVP ended up standing up. He applauded Keith Lee. Keith Lee ended up helping Matt Riddle up. And then we had Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley ended up attacking Keith Lee and Matt Riddle from behind. Keith Lee ended up shaking his head at Bobby Lashley. And Lashley ended up picking Keith Lee up, and he drove him into the mat. And then once again, we had Bobby Lashley end up applying the Hurt Lock to Matt Riddle. Keith Lee ended up trying to come back, but Lashley ended up knocking him off to the floor. So Lashley ended up running around the ring, started leveling Keith Lee at ringside, sent Keith Lee into the ring post. Lashley then ended up grabbing half of the steel ring steps, and then he rammed the steps into Keith Lee's face, which sent Keith Lee over the announce table. So pretty much that was basically what happened. But overall, very good match from Keith Lee and Matt Riddle. And then we had the tables match. Lana versus Nia Jax, which this was very boring. This was terrible. The funny point in the match was where Nia Jax ended up landing hard on the ring apron. And she was screaming and she's like, "Ow, my hole!" It was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing when she said that, because it was just comical. So Lana ended up shoving Jax through the table, and it was a table that was leaning against the barricade at ringside. So Lana ended up winning the match. Post-match, we had Shayna Baszler end up coming from behind. She ended up dropping Lana. Naomi ended up fighting off Shayna Baszler, which sent her out of the ring. So that was that. But overall, god-awful. God-awful tables match. And then we had Shayna Baszler versus Naomi, which this was terrible. This was another terrible match, in my opinion. Naomi ended up winning. We had Shayna Baszler end up launching Lana into the barricade. And Naomi ended up rolling up Shayna Baszler. So there you go. Naomi ended up winning the match. Overall, terrible match. And then it was announced that at the Elimination Chamber, it's going to be a triple threat. It's going to be Matt Riddle versus Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley at Elimination Chamber. So that's going to be taking place. And then, of course, we had Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton, which led to a disqualification. So, but yeah, so that was Monday Night Raw tonight. Overall, god-awful show. God-awful show tonight, in my opinion. So, but yeah, that's it for the Monday Night Raw recap and results video. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this video. And definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And sorry if I sound like this, sound a little nasally. Got a cold. So, but anyways, that's it for the video. And I will see you all Wednesday night for AEW Dynamite. So, bye.